I haven't decided if this is comfortable or not. It's like fine, but I think it will become uncomfortable by the time this video is over. That being said, this video should actually be relatively short. Hi everybody, it's time for the extras video, where I talk about all of the things that happened in the month of July 2025 that didn't have vlogs dedicated to them. And to be honest, it'll be a pretty short video because not a lot happened in July. There was a lot that happened in June, but not a lot that happened in July. In some ways that's good, because I got news 2 days ago that shows that August is going to be very busy. But I'll talk about that like once we're into August. And there are still some things to talk about, so let me start at the beginning of the month. It was July, which means that it was also July 4th. And Mao and I were able to celebrate July 4th by watching some fireworks, which was very, very nice. All of our friends were out of town, which is not my favorite thing, because I'd rather celebrate holidays with, you know, the gang. But we still had a good time. And actually there were some food trucks around, and I got a chance to try, how do I describe this? I guess it was a taco. It's a taco, but it had chicken, egg and cheese in it, and I think bacon. And then the taco itself, instead of a tortilla, was a pancake. So it was a breakfast taco, but with fried chicken. There's a tiny bug in here. I will end you, tiny bug. He's gone, I'll never see him again. Also in July, we made a pretty big purchase, depending on who you ask. If you ask Mao, it's a very big purchase because it's something that she has wanted for a long, long, long time. And that is a headboard. We have not had a headboard for our bed ever. Maybe ever. I know that we used to have a headboard that was just like some padding that we had like adhered to the wall, and it like functioned as a headboard, but it wasn't like an actual headboard. Well, Mao has been kind of keeping an eye out for headboards and stuff for, I mean, honestly, a long time. And she found one that she liked that would fit our bed, and the person wanted $20. $20. So it's a big purchase in the sense that it's meaningful. It's not big in the sense that it costs a lot. So $20. The only thing that was, I guess, a little rough, if you want to call it that, is that it would not fit in the Subaru. So we had to rent a truck. But you can rent a truck from Home Depot for $20. Did you know that? Because I learned that. That's amazing. You get the truck, you get it for 75 minutes, which is generally long enough if you're just going to like pick something up and drop it off at your place. So it was enough time for us. That was it. $20. We came back and they're like, all right. And then we left. So I'm going to keep that in mind in the future. If there's something that we need that's, you know, bigger, you know, as long as you can get it done quick, like $20, it's pretty good. Anyway, if anyone needed to know that information, now you know. We also watched a show in July, and this is coming highly, highly recommended from me. We watched a show called The Residents, which is a show on Netflix. It is a murder mystery with a healthy dose of comedy in it that takes place in the White House. And it's about the White House staff and some of the guests who are at the White House. It's very, very good. It's not like really political in any way. The White House is just kind of the stage for where this happens. And the protagonist is like the world's greatest detective. And it's just great. It's really great. It's fun to watch because you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what clues are important. And it's just fun to try and figure it out while you're watching the world's greatest detective figure it out. And it is funny. It's a funny show. I wouldn't like be like, it's a comedy, but it's got enough comedic elements that I'm like, it's funny. So yeah, highly recommended. only 8 episodes. They're a little longer. They're probably like 50-minute episodes, but highly recommended. Mal and I really, really enjoyed it. Apparently, it came out earlier this year, and it's already canceled. And I'm like, well, that's stupid. It's a great show. I really enjoyed it. So give that a watch if you'd like. It was really, really good. Another big milestone happened on the VOD channel. The VOD channel hit 10,000 subscribers. So let me first say thank you. Sincerely appreciate it. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the VOD channel, I recommend it. I try to get things posted relatively quickly over there. There's over 1,000 videos now. There's 1,000 VODs up. It's a great way to catch up if you're watching live, or if you don't have the opportunity to watch live, to just watch the stuff in general. And like I said, I get stuff posted over there as quickly as possible, including Mal's stuff, because we put Mal's VODs up there as well. So it's a good way to keep up with things. I watched one movie in July. Mal and I went over to Chaz and Jeff's because Chaz has wanted to watch this movie, Streets of Fire, for a long time. Streets of Fire is a cult classic that has been described as all style, no substance. And after having watched it, I agree. It is a cool movie. Like, it is a stylish movie from the 80s, and it's dripping with aesthetic. But many of the characters are wood, and the plot doesn't make sense. Nothing is ever really at stake. It's not a good movie, but in some ways it is a good movie because there is a lot of style, and also it's fun to watch those sorts of things because you're going into it with the knowledge of like, okay, this might not be super, super good. And if you set your expectations correctly, I think you can enjoy movies like that. So it was fun. It was a fun watch. It's a musical? How did they describe it whenever it starts? I think they describe it as a rock and roll fable. So you gotta see it. You gotta see it for yourself if you're into that sort of thing. It's got Rick Moranis and Willem Dafoe, but from like a long time ago. And let me tell you, it is really weird to see Willem Dafoe de-aged. Because it's a movie from when he was younger, and you know, I associate Willem Dafoe with like a very aged, wrinkled face, and nope, he's young because it's from 40 years ago. So something to possibly check out. A few months ago, there was a snake in our garage, and the snake was in our garage because we found a snake skin, and we remedied that situation ultimately by plugging the garage holes. There was a little gap between the garage door and the house on each side that we looked at and we were like, a snake could probably get in this. So we plugged that, and since then we haven't had any issues, any evidence of any snakes in the garage. No poop, no skins, no nothing. Awesome. So anyway, the other day, I went down into our crawl space because we have a crawl space, and the way that our house is laid out, the crawl space is really big. It's like 12-foot tall crawl space because it's on a hill. And I went into the crawl space because I was looking in there for something. And when I went in, I went, because I'm going to show you a picture just so you know. You're going to see a picture of a snake skin. If you want to avert your eyes, I'll tell you when you can open them, but I don't think it's terribly bothersome, but just to let you know. The snake skin. And you might be saying, that actually looks like 2 snake skins. It is! One has been there so long that it was deteriorating, and then the other one that's, relatively whole is at least like 5 feet long. And I was like, cool. We had been in the crawl space. Okay, I'm gonna remove the photo now. All right, it's gone, so you can look again if you don't like seeing those things. We had been in the crawl space when Mark and Rhonda were here, which wasn't that long ago, like 2 months, maybe, something like that. And there was no snakeskins in there at that point. But I went in just the other day and there was. And I was like, oh, neat. So there were snakes. Oh, and actually there were more than 2. I walked around a little bit, which I had never really done. I was like looking around in there, and because it runs, like the length of the house. So I walked around and I actually found even more snakeskins, a total of 4, maybe 5. Some of them were a little janky, so it might have actually been 5. But anyway, the source of this, I believe, is that how. Oh, I can show you. See those little things? The little vents that are at the bottom of a house? Yeah, one of ours was missing. Yeah, I was down in the crawl space and there was a lot of light coming from the other side of the house. And I looked and one of those things had been like knocked in. So I was like, okay, so that seems like an entry point for snakes to live under our home. And like, I get it. If it's really, really hot outside, snakes want a place to be in the shade, and under our house is probably a great place for it. But I also don't want to feel like I live above a snake pit. So I walked over to the other side of the house, which is where I found some more of those skins, and then I took that plate or whatever it is, and I put it back where it was, and then I kicked it really hard with my foot so it would shove back into place. So that should hopefully keep the snakes from getting under there. I don't know why it was like that in the first place. I mean, there's some kids that play around here. If they kicked it, then that's that. But hopefully that'll help future snake issues. And I never saw any snakes down there. So I guess they hung out to shed and they're like, a nice cool place. This is great. And then they were like, time to leave, and then they left. So, and as one final thing for July, I'm putting this on this list. I do a lot of my shopping at Costco, and Costco is great not only because it's typically much more inexpensive than other places, but also you can eat there and it's very cheap because you can get a hot dog and a drink for $1.50. Slice of pizza is like $2. So a lot of times if I'm going to Costco, I'll also get lunch there. So this year, I've eaten a lot of hot dogs. I've eaten a whole lot of hot dogs because I'm at Costco anyway. I can get a hot dog and I'm like, cool. I get to pay a very small amount of money and I am filled up. And I don't have to worry about trying to feed myself otherwise. So I've been talking to Thomas about hot dogs. This probably seems weird, but he was telling me that he had seen online some people were doing like this contest to see how many hot dogs they could eat in a year. Like amongst this friend group, they were, calculating how many hot dogs they were keeping track of them. And I told Thomas, I was like, well, that's not something I should even bother doing with anyone because like I would win that. I eat more hot dogs now in my life than I probably ever have because I'm at Costco usually once a week and I'll just get a hot dog when I'm there. And Thomas said, I'm gonna send you a hot dog. And I didn't really think anything of that at the time. I was just like, okay, whatever. Anyway, the other day I went to the mailbox and I got a letter and it was from Thomas. And inside was a printed photo of a hot dog. And I put it on my fridge. Put it straight on my fridge is where it lives now. I don't know how long it'll live there, but for right now, I decided that that's where I want that. It's like a child's drawing. I'm so proud of this printed picture of this hot dog. Thank you, Thomas. And that's it. I want to finish off this video before I thank patrons, Patreon producers. Thank you. Sincerely appreciate it. If you are watching right now and you'd like to learn more about Patreon, how you can support Mal and myself, you can visit supportsteven.com. I'm going to be making a video, because it's the end of the month, I'm going to be making a Patreon video here soon to talk about what's coming up. because I always do that with patrons. Patreon typically doesn't get necessarily exclusive information. They typically just get information early. So this, I will be talking about this stuff on the blog, but like I said at the very beginning of this video, there is a, let's call it a new source of stress approaching rapidly on the horizon, and it's going to make August very interesting. That's a word I could use for it. Interesting. But for now, July was a relatively simple month, and perhaps in hindsight now, I'm very grateful for that. I hope all of you had a good July as well. Thanks for watching. Let's meet back soon, shall we?